Hello everyone and welcome back to War Thunder with Yippodiuppis, and welcome to patch 1.89 test server, which just went up a couple of minutes ago. Unfortunately I missed the first server because it was in the weekend and it was quite late in the evening, so I didn't pay attention back then. But this time, even though it is again weekend and it's late in the evening, well, this time I was at least prepared for this test server to open, so here I am. Anyway, as usual, I will first go through the new ground vehicles, then new air vehicles, and then lastly, or well, not lastly, but then the new naval vehicles, and then whatever other new vehicle features are implemented in this patch. So anyway, let's get started with the ground vehicles. So first up here we have, for the US, we have the Bradley ADAT anti-everything vehicle, kinda. Well, I guess mostly in real life at least it was meant for anti-aircraft duties, but also these missiles, they are quite punchy. The MIM-146 missiles, which have 900 millimeters of penetration. I suppose they are heat projectiles, so some modern tanks can have quite a high resistance for heat, but 900 millimeters is pretty much pretty much able to go through anything you can imagine. So yeah, and of course we have the 25mm chain gun here, which has APDS available, the same as the Bradley, so we have about 100 millimeters at 100 meters penetration, so that's a nice sidekick. The fire rate is the same, 201 shots per minute, so no improvement there. And armor, again, these armor values might not be the final, but I think for this they probably are. And yeah, it's pretty much paper armor for this thing, so yeah. And your profile is quite large, or this vehicle is very tall, radar is spinning at the top, so yeah, quite difficult to hide, but those missiles should make quick work of pretty much anything. They should work pretty well against both tanks and air vehicles. So yeah, let's see what's the range. You have 8 kilometers range, so that's quite a long distance. And maximum missile trajectory is 1200 meters per second, so that's pretty good as well. So yeah, we have quite a good competitor for the Tunguska in the top AA branch. But let's keep moving. That's the only new ground vehicle we have for the Americans this patch. For the Soviet Union we have the Sturm S anti-tank vehicle, or a missile launching vehicle, however you want to call it. It has 12 ATGMs, and they are in this cool looking revolver cylinder here, and this arm actually reaches out into the hull. This hatch opens and the arm reaches into the hull and grabs a new missile from this revolver, which rotates a new missile to the top, and then this arm takes it. So that's a quite cool animation I've seen already in other videos in YouTube, so go check it out if you want to see it. I cannot unfortunately just test drive this, so yeah. And yeah, there's now 3 different missiles, so that's interesting. I think previously there was only 2 types of missile. So we have the 9M114, which has 560 millimeters of penetration, and the 9M120 with 800 millimeters, and then 9M120F1 missile, which has 55 millimeters. Anti-tank guided missile. Is there something in here that I'm not seeing? Is this some sort of high explosive type of missile? Doesn't really make any sense. It has a lot of explosive mass. It's 4.5 kilograms. But it says anti-tank guided missile on the text, so maybe this is not the final armor value or armor penetration value. So yeah, either this is some kind of high explosive rocket or this is still lacking the numbers. So yeah, let's not put final judgment on that just yet. But yeah, this thing has absolutely no armor. So you have 40 millimeters in the front. So yeah, heavy machine guns will go through, and there should be hull break for this thing. So yeah, and you have only 2 crew members. So yeah, you just basically machine gun this at one of these hatches, and this vehicle is dead. So yeah. And it's well, it's quite low in profile, but it's quite long and pretty wide. So yeah, of course, because this missile is on this arm, it might be possible to sort of hide behind hills and fire your missiles from there. So maybe that could be sort of a strategy for this thing. This is basically a modern glass cannon. Well, it doesn't have a cannon, but yeah, you get what I mean. Anyway, let's keep moving. So next for the UK we have the Stormer HVM, anti-air vehicle. So yeah, this is definitely one of the newest vehicles in the game, as in like in modern, in how new it is in real life. I mean, because this missile system is still in production even. So yeah, that's new. So the missiles are the Starstreak anti-air missiles. It still has anti-tank guided missile, but these are mainly meant for air targets. And what makes this missile special is that it's first launched from the tube with the first charge, and then I think it has three different stages altogether. Like on the second stage, I think it has 3 separate warheads, which then separate and sort of spin in the air, and yeah, the idea is that you have 3 separate darts or tiny missiles that hit at the same time at the target, so create maximum damage that way. But that means that those darts have to hit the target, as in they have to penetrate the target, so no proximity fuses for these missiles. So you better aim well. You have 3 crew members. You have gunner, commander, driver. Armor is quite weak. I think this thing will, yeah, this thing should have hull break, like no questions really. And of course you have this big ass missile rack here on the top, so that will really poke out and people can shoot at it with their machine guns, which might ruin your day. So yeah, and you have 16 missiles altogether, so yeah, you have a bit of a reserve there in the hull of the vehicle. So next up, for Japanese vehicles, we have also an I was getting ahead of myself. Yeah, no anti-air vehicle, but we have another light vehicle. So this is the Type 16, and this wasn't on the first dev server, so yeah, let's see what this guy is up to. So we have the standard 105mm L7 cannon here, heavy machine gun on top, and light machine gun as coaxial. And armor is composite side skirts. These probably are wrong names for these things. Do we have composite armor? No. We have some inner layers here, but that's just 8mm. Well, no. But basically we have no armor, but... Oh, well, there is a bit of an armor here in the front, 150mm, so... at this battle rating 9.7, like 150mm doesn't help you that much. So turret is 40mm, and then around the gun it's 20mm, 5mm at the side. That looks kind of weird. Is there like another layer underneath here? No, can't be that weak. Maybe there is still some layers missing in here. But anyway, let's look at the ammunition. So we have M735 AP FSDS, which is already in the game on several vehicles, 360 penetration, HESH, and then Japanese Type 91 heat, which seems like the normal L7 heat, so 400mm, smoke round, and Type 93, so 405mm at 10 meters. So yeah, that should be pretty good. No, it's certainly not the top dog round or anywhere close to it anymore, but and you have battle rating of 9.7, so oh, now I just noticed the top speed in there, 108 kilometers. So yeah, this is certainly Centauro 2.0. So try to play like or try to reach some super advantageous position at the start of the game, and then try to snipe at the sides of the enemy. So that should be the name of the game probably when you drive this thing. 26 tons weight and 810 horsepower, so yeah, no wonder this thing goes like crazy. You have wheels in this vehicle, so it would be nice to see how this thing can do in cross country. And the crew is 4 members, you probably already noticed that earlier on. We have gunner, commander, loader, driver, and there's a small ammo rack in the turret. This is the first stage ammo, so 15 pieces. Does it also include these? Yeah, so we have 2 first stage ammo racks, so yeah, here next to the loader and behind him in the turret. So yeah, and then a bigger reserve at the bottom end of the vehicle. So yeah, this is certainly a nice addition for Japan, their own APC fast type of scout vehicle, which already quite many countries have. So yeah, let's keep moving. So for Germany we have a new AA vehicle. So this is the FLARAK PZ1. Let's take a while to guess. It's like a Flugabwehrraketenpanzer, like a anti-plane rocket tank. Like a harsh translation. That might not be super correct, but yeah, what I'm used to German abbreviations by now, that's the first thing that comes to mind. So we have 10 Roland missiles, so 8 in the hull and 2 in the turret, or in the missile tubes already. We also have this revolver type of reload mechanism. And there should be again like an animation where the turret points forward after firing, and then these arms reach down into the hull for new missile tubes. So yeah, you have 10 missiles, some smoke launchers, basically no armor, but here in the front it's 32mm, so hard to say if it has hull break. Probably will. It would be quite outrageous honestly if it doesn't, because this is the whole vehicle otherwise is just so weak, especially the turret where the missiles are. You have 3 crew members, so driver, commander and gunner. Big ass tracking device here in the front, and then the radar on the top. Let's see about the missiles. So we have Roland 1 and Roland 3. Roland 1 has 900 meters trajectory and 6.3 kilometers range, so yeah, pretty good. And 61 millimeters of penetration, and it has quite a big explosive warhead with 8.5 kilograms of TNT equivalent. So yeah, and the Roland 3 has better range of 8.5 kilometers, same trajectory, and even bigger explosive mass. So yeah, the Roland 3 seems to be just a straight up upgrade, so you really want to get the Roland 3 as soon as possible after you have gotten parts in FPE. You might even want to skip FPE and just go for a missile first and then FPE, since the missiles are so important for this vehicle, since you have, well, no other weaponry except, well, artillery later on. You have rangefinder too, so that's pretty amusing. Like, I don't think that's very useful for this type of vehicles, but oh well. Fire rate 144 shots per minute. Yeah, I don't think that's kind of correct. Reloading rate is 10 seconds, so is it like after you have fired 2 missiles, it will take 10 seconds to reload? But yeah, it's nice to see that Germany too has a new top AA vehicle. So then Italy next. We have, of course, Ariete, the production variant Ariete. The previous one was just the pre-series, and now we have the actual production vehicle, which is a lot more, how would you say, combat ready, or like more, it has more all kinds of features around the hull of the vehicle. But let's see about the armor. Well, this doesn't really tell us much, so seems pretty much the same as the pre-series Ariete to me. Yeah, maybe there's some small difference here, but yeah, still the hull is quite, well, it's very weak. So yeah, the turret isn't super duper durable either, especially here at the gun. So yeah, how about ammo? What the? What is that? What the bleep is that? 620 millimeters at 100 meters. What? Well, okay, yeah. Now I can see why this is battle rating 10.0. Jeez. Okay, well, I guess the Ariete can take hits itself, but this CL3143 will cut through everything pretty much. That has to be the new top dog round. Is it some kind of Italian round? Well, yeah, that explains why this thing is at 10.0. Well, it also has some other features that are different. Well, the extra machine guns at the top for one. But yeah, let's see. I guess the pre-series doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't get the CL round. So yeah. Well, the Ariete's crowning feature now is it has the top penetrating round, it seems, of the game. For now at least. And finally we have some vehicle that I can actually drive. So this is the OF40 MTCA, and this is of course the new new premium vehicle for the Italians at rank 6 at battle rating 8.7. So yeah, the Italian 8.7. Let's see the rounds, quite a bit of different ones. So you basically have the APF SDS and the heat, so probably wanna use the APF SDS. Let's take it for a spin. Turret traverse is pretty quick. We have a stabilizer. We have a couple of machine guns that are almost pointing at the right direction. Yeah, I guess they are, but yeah, there are some Italian tanks in the game that have just machine guns pointing all over the place. Speed is okay, I would say. Seems pretty much the same as the Leopard. Makes sense, this is basically an Italian, slightly improved version of the Leopard. So yeah, let's go back to the stats. This seems pretty much your box standard 8.7 vehicle with 105mm gun and stabilizer, good mobility, and well, armor is not so great. You have bit of space armor here in the turret, but it's not going to really protect you from anything at all. And well, this turret front is quite heavily sloped, so maybe if there's some extreme angle it can just like bounce because of the angle. And the hull front is, well, it has this big ass lower front plate which is very weak, so yeah, armor is not this thing's top feature. And would I buy this over other 8.7 vehicles? I don't know. It's also quite in a poor tech tree right now, since Italy has so few vehicles at the moment. You don't have much to grind for, so yeah, it seems to be like just a pure upgrade over to normal OF. So yeah, it's better than the tech tree vehicle, but yeah, I'm not terribly excited. Let's keep moving. So yeah, of course, for France we have many new interesting things. So let's start with the premium for the French as well. So we have the AMX-30 Super. So we finally have a stabilizer for an AMX-30. I think this was like a one-off prototype vehicle that was customized by the Germans. That explains why it has the MG3 at the top, and it has replaced the 20mm coaxial cannon with a M250 cal. The shells are the same as the Tech 3 AMX variants, higher level AMX-30, so you have the APF SDS at the end, which you probably want to use. Let's take it for a spin. And yeah, this vehicle was never adopted by anybody, and it was just that one prototype that was built by the Germans, well, you know, put together by the Germans. So yeah, we have a stabilizer, definitely. And yeah, also I think there is a new engine. Yeah, there's pretty definitely a new engine for this thing. Stabilizer seems good enough. So yeah, now you pretty much have an AMX30 that you can take into the top matches pretty much, since it has the stabilizer, and you can start shooting on the move just like everyone else. Well, let's check the armor just to be sure. I don't think there's any surprises here. Nope. And the engine, 1300 horsepower. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's an improvement. Yeah, it's a big improvement. Pretty much double the horsepower, so yeah. Better mobility and stabilizer, that's what you get with this thing. And the same battle rating as Brennus, so yeah, I think this AMX30 Super is probably going to be a whole lot more easier to use, at least, than the Brennus, since the Brennus just has the ERA bricks. And it doesn't have the stabilizer, so, or the improved engine, so yeah. I think I would take the Super over the Brennus any day. And we have the Roland, I think it's Roland, maybe in French, or something like that. So, I think this is like an AMX30 based chassis. Wait. Is it? It's like an improved AMX30. Anyway, it has a lot of horsepower, 1100 horsepower, so that's quite a bit. We have 30 millimeters armor at the front. Sides are weak as all hell. The turret is super weak, so yeah. Probably will have hull break, unless this 30 millimeters hull front is enough to avoid it, but I don't think it is. We have the same amount of missiles, Rolands, 10 of them. We have some smoke launchers. So let's see, is it the same missiles? Yeah. Yeah, I think those are they are the same missiles as the German vehicles, so yeah. You pretty much have almost identical vehicles for the Germans and the French. The vehicle hull is a bit different, but it doesn't make much practical difference, I think. Maybe the Roland is a bit faster. We have 65 kilometers. Let's see the German one. Yeah, the French Roland one is probably a bit faster than the German one. And then, of course, we come to the big boy, Leclerc 1. Leclerc Series 1. So the first production variant of Leclerc. And man, this looks just so nice. It looks like it's from the future, so futuristic looking. Even though this was designed in the 1980s for the most part, I think. But well, production started in the 90s, I think. So let's see the armor. That's probably in everyone's mind. So first off, we have nothing in the lower hull. Let's see here. Whoa, boy. So we have 40 millimeters of RHA. Then we have 500 millimeters of NERA elements, and then another 40 millimeters of rolled homogeneous armor. So there's like this thin slice, or the upper part of the hull front is very well armored, but then there's this big ass lower slab that's very weak. Well, there's not much in here. You don't have. Oh wait, no, you have ammo here. So. Oh yeah, I didn't see it at first behind the fuel tank, so you can either kill the driver with an APFSDS in the lower part, or you can hit here and it will hit both a fuel tank and an ammo rack. So yeah. Oh, but You can probably have this ammo rack as empty just by using this turret ammo rack. So it's 22 pieces. So yeah, you probably want to run this tank with 22 rounds. So you have all the ammo here in the turret back, which seems to have some sort of blast protection if it gets hit. So part of the hull panels just blow off. How do you call it? Like blowout panels? Yeah, you have blowout panels. So yeah, but yeah, let's see the turret armor. Oh, that's a lot of layers, and there's two NE array layers here, 360 and 300. Here we have 500-550, so it's changing a bit. I guess tiny bit between the what? Oh, really? So here next to the gun we have basically nothing. Of course it would be a bit tricky to try get something past all the breach blocks and the machine guns and what have you here, but still you can probably sneak in a shot from here, from next to the gun, which will then also hurt the crew. So let's see, let's take the top round. What does it do? Oh, just a breach. So here we can get the commander. Okay, well, it's not so bad, I guess. You can easily kill the commander. This way you can probably kill the gunner if you have the correct angle. Yeah, you can kill the gunner from here. Okay, well, it's not so bad, but it's definitely quite a big weakness because it will still take out the gun breach, and then the enemy can shoot back at you. And you can, of course, hurt the commander quite easily because he's on the bigger open side here. And if you are shooting it from this type of angle, you can kill the gunner this way. So one strategy for wiping out the Leclerc could be shoot here first, destroy the gun breach and probably kill the gunner, or this way and kill the commander and destroy gun breach and then shoot here in the lower hull, which will kill the driver, and then this vehicle is dead because it has a 3-man crew, unless I'm completely mistaken. No, it has 3-man crew, so yeah. It has an autoloader, as probably all of you know by now, so yeah. The reload rate is 6 seconds, probably, well, there shouldn't be any way to improve that because yeah, it's an autoloader, so it will always be 6 seconds, which is of course pretty good for 120mm gun. So let's see the ammo. Just there's two options. So heat 600mm, and then you have as a tier 4 unlock this APFSDS, which has 527mm of pen at 100. So yeah, that's quite competitive. Of course, coming after the Italian Ariete, that seems quite low, but you kind of have to have some reasonability here. So yeah, the 520mm, it's very good. And the armor on this thing, oh yeah, there's, now that I look a bit more carefully, there's quite a bit of a gap here between the armor layers in the turret and the turret ring. So yeah, that's quite, let's see, can you sneak in a shot from here? Yes, you can. Oh yeah, I didn't notice that at first. Of course, it's actually not that tricky even. And you can penetrate the upper glasses from here too. What, you can penetrate even this? Ah, so you can... I thought like because of this big angle it will deflect shots, but no, it doesn't. So okay, well, that makes it more interesting. I guess if the Leclerc can put its hull like this, yeah. So if the Leclerc is coming from behind a hill and it shows its upper hull like this, then you should definitely shoot here in the turret ring, because yeah, you can easily kill the gunner and then just swap to the other side and kill the commander, and that's it. Leclerc is dead. You don't have to mind about the driver in that case. And yeah, this scope thing in this top doesn't really count for anything. Let's see the turret top, how tough it is. That doesn't do anything. And yeah, these turret cheeks are pretty damn tough. But there's quite a bit, quite the weak spots here in the turret ring and just next to the gun, so yeah. I think probably the best bet is to shoot at this turret ring. It's quite a big area here, as you can see. Or if the angle is good, you can just shoot here in the upper hull, and it will just go straight through if you have you know, main battle tank with good penetration. So yeah, it seems the Leclerc is probably going to be competitive enough, but it's not going to be overpowered, I'd say. Probably not. When it comes to speed, oh boy, 2,200 horsepower for a 53-ton vehicle, so yeah, this should be a pretty fast boy. How are these? Well, these are just 80mm, so that's not so much of protection. I thought they would be like more of a, you know, layered, but it's just 80mm. But yeah, that should be all the ground vehicles. So next, let's go to the aircraft. And let's start with USSR. We should have one new plane, which is going to be quite tricky. Oh, there it is. So it's Yak-3U. Basically, it's a Yak-3 with a radial engine. Armament is two 20mm B-20S cannons. Armor is bulletproof glass behind the head of the pilot and the steel plate seat. No secondary armaments. You have the usual Soviet 20mm. You have battle rating of 6.0, so you have quite a big expectations for the performance then, which doesn't seem that crazy. I mean, how much do the modifications improve it? Well, that's pretty big. Let's see, engine injection. Okay, so we are going to go easily past 700. Maybe like 730 top speed in the end, so yeah, 6.0 I guess, yeah, why not. And we have it seems like this might be a bit more better at lower altitudes than other super props. But yeah, of course, let's take it for a spin. That's the best way to figure out. When it comes to looks, it's, yeah, just Yak-3 with a radial engine, nothing else. Not much else has changed. I think the cockpit looks a bit wider than normal Yak-3s. So let's see, how does this thing climb? Pretty damn nice, yeah. yeah, well, this certainly looks like seems a bit like the other Soviet late stage prop planes, that it does well at lower altitudes. It's quite fast, seems to climb pretty well, but it's definitely going to have some tough competitors like Spitfires and German jets and things like that. When you have a 6.0 battle rating, you're going to get dragged into the early jet games, and you might be up for quite of a challenge there. And you have only 2 of these 20mm, no secondary armament, so yeah, you are basically an anti-fighter fighter. And we rip the wings. It already goes red at 720. Like 720 we got the reduced speed warning, so, and that was just like a very, very small dive. So yeah, that doesn't really bode well. You would have to be able to go at least like 800 in order to be able to catch up to jets who are low. So yeah, I don't have too high hopes for this thing. Maybe it's a bit more agile than other Soviet super props, but it just doesn't seem fast enough. But I would have to have it with all the modifications to give like a final opinion, but yeah, not too excited. Then for the US we have 2 new attackers. Let's see the Tech Tree one first, the AM1, which is available for everyone. So what place was that? So it's before the 82, and this AM1 has a battle rating of 5.3, so a bit lower than the 82. It has 4 cannons, 4 20mm cannons. It basically looks like a longer version of 82. We have a whole bunch of secondary armament, so stock we don't have Diddley Squad, no, so we have to even unlock like the basic HVARs. So yeah, so let's see. Of course we have this that has gained a lot of attention, the 3 torpedo loadout. You can have 3 torpedoes and HVARs. Can you get torpedoes and bombs? No, I don't think so, because they are probably using the same mounting points. So yeah, I guess for naval battles this will be quite good. 3 torpedoes and HVARs at 5.3 battle rating, so yeah, that should be quite interesting. Let's see about the bombs. So you can have 14 250 pounds. Yeah, it's quite nice, but the 250 pounders are just kind of weak at this battle rating for taking out tanks, at least in ground battles. We have 3 500s, 3 1000s, then 1 2000s. Let's see what combos you can get. 12 250s and 1 2000. You have quite a mix here. 10 250s, 1 1000, 2 500s. So you have 3 500s and 10 250s. Yeah, that's a whole bunch of smaller bombs. And then you have 12 HVARs and 1 2000. 12 HVARs and tiny teams and a 1000. Twelve HVARs and 3 500s. personally, I don't really like the tiny teams. Like they are quite destructive when you hit something with them, but trying to hit something with them is really difficult. So yeah, I don't really use them ever, at least against tanks in ground battles. So here we have 12 HVARs, 1000, 2 500s, and if you want only bombs, you can have either this with 10 250s and 1 2000, or this that has 1 1000, 2 500s and 10 250s. So yeah, the bombs, it's hard to say which is the best. Well, you have sort of everything, something for every situation. Maybe this probably is one of the best with 12 HVARs, 1000 and 2 500s. Yeah, this is probably one of the better loadouts against tanks. And if you are going against ships, well, just take the 3 torpedoes and 12 HVARs. So yeah, this definitely seems like a plane that you would prefer for naval battles. But then let's take a look at this new premium A2D1 Sky Shark that has been causing a lot of discussion with its power. At least on the first test server it seemed that this thing was really quick, but now on the first test server I think the battle rating was 4.7, and now it's jumped up to 6.7, which seems more appropriate since this is like 1950s plane. So yeah. Loadout, well, first let's take a look at the guns. So we have 4 20mm in the wings with 200 rounds each, so yeah, pretty basic. 800 km/h top speed. Turn time is 20 seconds, so pretty damn quick for something at this battle rating. Rate of climb is 36 meters per second, so that's really good too. That would be interesting to see what happens when you start to mount some armaments here. And they have fixed the bomb loadout, because on the first test server you could take 2,500 pound bombs, which was just stupid. Like, this plane couldn't take that kind of loadout, but now it's 2,250, so yeah, that's still quite an arsenal. And yeah, you have here 10 500 pounds, so that's still pretty good. 20 HVARs, 2 1000s, 2 2000s, 2 2000s and 8 500s. 20 HVARs and 2 2000s, or 2 torpedoes. So yeah, for ground battles you probably wanna take, you have the 10 500, well no, of course you wanna take the 2 2000s and 8 500s probably. That's probably the best way to go. So let's try that. And you have the usual American 20mm belts here. No carrier takeoff, even though this is a carrier plane. Oh, you have a radar. Oh yeah, forgot about that. That's of course a nice addition. So yeah, here you have the 2,000 pounders in their big mounting points, and then teeny weeny 500 ones next to them. Ooh! I'm starting to sink a bit in there. So yeah, these are your usual 20mm cannons. Not that crazy rate of fire. It's pretty fast, but nothing super duper crazy. Combat flaps. Air brake. Which fuse did I take again? Hopefully it's 1 second. at least. Let's see which bomb drops first. The 2000s. Okay. Whoa. I'm not used to the 2000 pounders, so yeah, I didn't quite realize just how destructive they are, so yeah. Anyway, this should be a really interesting ground pounder for the Americans. It's 5,000 golden, well, 4,900 golden eagles, so it's not super cheap, but probably it's a fun vehicle at least, for sure. Oh, now you have the FJ4B here in this as a pack. That's interesting. Oh well. Yeah, we have one new plane for Germany, and that's of course the Me-264. Yeah, oh, I was looking for it a while. I thought it was a rank 4, but no, it's a rank 3 heavy bomber. That's quite surprising that it's 4.0. Is it really that weak? So bombs, we have the 1,800 kilograms. Oh yeah, I was first thinking that it's a Fritz X, but no, it's not. It's not a Fritz X. It's just normal bombs. Sorry, I had to drink some water there. So you have 4 1,000 kilograms, and then you have a mixed assortment of 3 250 kilograms and 6 500 kilograms. So probably you just want to take. Oh well, I guess you probably want to take the 2 1,800s and 3 250s. Though that's quite quite a discrepancy between the bomb sizes. But yeah, it's also kind of weird that the option with the biggest bomb load is not the most expensive, but oh well. Let's take it for a test flight. Unfortunately, I only can take those teeny weeny bombs, but let's see. Oh, so no takeoff. Whoa, what the? This is very responsive. This is realistic battle. Just look at the nose, how it goes up and down. What? This cannot be the final flight model. No way. Well, it doesn't turn very well, but just look at this. It's freaking crazy. Is just my camera moving? Ah. No, no. The plane itself is moving too. Yeah. Maybe I'm going a bit too fast. Well, okay, there it's really locking up. No, maybe I was just going crazy with the camera, but it seemed like it was more responsive. I was kind of thinking this would be something like B-29 level responsiveness. Flaps, but yeah. Well, it makes sense. I mean, it is smaller than B-29, so the wings are really freaking super long, but the fuselage of the plane is a whole lot smaller. Yeah, it doesn't really turn now without flaps. Let's see. How many dead spots do we have? No dead spots at all. Oh, there's a tiny... What? So there's this jet spot like sort of angled from behind. And not on this side. What? Nothing below? Doesn't have... I thought it had one turret. Ah. Yeah, okay, so... if you can come from straight below, you can just shoot this thing at your leisure. Like, nothing below, so... yeah, that's how you kill this thing. Coming from straight up is kind of dangerous. Coming from straight behind is suicidal. So yeah. If you see this thing, just get below it and then zoom up and shoot there at the wing roots. Probably this thing will blow to bits, probably. Let's take a look at the defensive armament again. So we have 3 20mm, both, like there's 2 of them here on the roof, yeah, and 1 here shooting downwards, and then 30mm on the sides, and then in the front we have 1 30mm. So yeah, you can also hit on this thing like 1 30mm. It's not that bad, honestly. Do we have how many pilots? Gunner. So yeah, you just hit the pilot here. It doesn't have bulletproof glass, so yeah, you can hit on this thing just, yeah, without much worry. The 1 30mm gun, it shouldn't do much problems, so yeah. Speed wise, not super fast, and rate of climb is horrible, so yeah. You should probably be able to catch this with at least 5.0 props pretty easily. But let's keep moving. So for Britain we have of course the long-awaited Hunter F6. And you have the blisters here below the cannons. That's like one distinguishing feature right away. But I think, yeah, this has a bit better engines. So F1 top speed is, well, without improvements, it's 192, and here it's 1132. So yeah, improved engine. But of course the real big improvement is the SRAMs, the AA missiles. So yeah, you can also take SNEB rockets together with the SRAMs. Or you can also have SNEBs and some bombs. But yeah, that's certainly interesting. You get 4 SRAMs and 36 rockets, so that's nice. But yeah, these SRAMs should be yeah, they can take a lot of maximum overload, so 5 Gs. The range isn't that great, but these missiles have great agility, so you can really make some tricky shots with those missiles. So that should be the strong point of this vehicle. It's not like that much. It's a bit more, you know, faster and more agile than the F1, but not a huge, and it's still subsonic. So yeah, those missiles are really the thing that makes the F6, I think. And then for Japan we have 1 new heavy fighter, because why not? Japan already has so many of these things, but oh well. And it's another bomber hunter, so no secondary armament. You have 20mm and the Japanese 30mm that don't have any pens, so yeah, it's a bomber hunter, put it simply. I almost don't want to test flight it because it seems like so much like the other Japanese heavy fighters. cockpit is already done, so that's nice, of course. You have a bulletproof glass here in front of the pilot. So there's 20mm and the 30mm. Both of those are very common guns in Japanese planes, so should be very familiar to anyone who's been playing Japanese planes. Let's see how it climbs. Well, for heavy fighter it seems pretty okay. As long as you get the heavy fighter spawn in air realistic, then you should be able to do some bomber hunting. But yeah, it's a bit sad that this is kind of a one-trick pony bomber hunter heavy fighter, like no auto rows really. I mean, you can probably fight with some auto fighters with like some extent, like it can turn pretty well, but the speed is a bit lower than most single seat fighters. Rate of climb is pretty good, but some fighters have it better, so it's a bit of a light heavy fighter, you could say. It'll be interesting to see how it can deal with normal fighters. Probably will be nice against bombers with those 30mm, but yeah, does it get beaten by single seat fighters just like other heavy fighters? We'll see. So for Italy we have a new rank 1 plane, so Reggiano RE 2002 early. 2002? Oh yeah, we have the 2000 and 2001. Then here we have 2002, so I guess this is like a improved version of the 2000 with a radial engine. Looks chubby like the 2000. And it already has what appears to be bomb racks here, so yeah. So yeah, it can carry some bombs, that's nice. 1 250 and 2 100, so that's nice. You can take this to ground battles. Not super duper fast, well, battle rating 2.3, so you cannot expect too much. Armament is 2 Preda 12.7s and 2 7.7s, so that's the usual, or that's the same as the 2001, yeah, or at least the two first 2001s. So compared to the 2000, you get 2 additional light machine guns, so it's something, but these Italian machine guns in general are pretty weak, so yeah, not exactly the best bomber hunter, but it would seem that this plane is more of a sort of all-rounder for ground battles too. Cockpit is all done and looks nice. You have this sort of big ass snout here in the front, which is an air intake, I suppose. So yeah, you have the light machine guns there in the wings, and the heavy machine guns here in the engine cowling. Turns okay, nothing crazy. Seems pretty much the same as the 2001 maybe, or well 2002. But yeah, let's not waste too much time there. We still have plenty more to go, so it's nice to have more Italian planes in the game, but I would have personally preferred something something here in rank 3 or 4. It's a bit empty in the fighter line in the 3rd and 4th ranks, not to even mention about the jets. But anyway, talking about jets, let's go to France and their a new jet, the F-86K, which is well, it's a sort of a variant of the Sabre, but it's mostly a new plane. It had its origins in the F-86 Sabre, but so much was completely redone that it's basically a new plane. And I think like the F-86Ks that France bought, they were actually made in Italy, and Italy also used this plane, so why it wasn't added for Italy at the same time, who knows. It probably would have been like, a change of texture, and that would have been it, but oh well. It should have radar here in front. Yes, it does. It has an improved engine over the F-86, I believe. And of course the armament is 4 20mm cannons, so that's nice. You don't have a whole lot of ammo for them, but that's quite the standard case with these things. You have the secondary armament of AIM-9B2, so yeah, you have some missiles too, which will probably come really handy against those top supersonic jets. Armor, we have the usual American style 38mm bulletproof glass, bit of steel in the front, bit of steel in the back, well, some stronger steel in the back. So yeah, I guess it's nice that France gets a new jet, but it still doesn't really compete with the supersonic jets of other countries. So yeah, 9.0, yeah, why not? Yeah, should do fine at 9.0. But yeah, I was kind of hoping that there will be some kind of continuation of the Super Mystère line. And for Japan, also, didn't notice at first, we have a new helicopter, which is a pack. What the heck is this disgrace? Oh god. Well, I guess all of you Veeps are probably very happy right about now. Oh man. Why? Why? Oh, okay. Anyway, let's get on with this. So, armor, well, seats, and here are bits around the engine. It's the usual 20mm revolver cannon up front, and then let's see the missiles. We have TOW missiles. Do we have TOW 2s? Just TOW 1s? So we have eight TOWs here. Also can get miniguns and Mighty Mouses. But of course, first you want to have, yeah, you probably want to take this loadout pretty much every time. Like there's the 76 Mighty Mouses, but why would you bother? Just take TOW missiles, as many as you can, and then you also have some Mighty Mouses on the side. So yeah, 630mm, and this is a 10.0 helicopter, so yeah, let's take it for a spin. Oh, the cockpit is a placeholder. Well, not really a surprise. Oh, we have it's hard to see, but we have like modern Japanese uniforms for the crew. and I have, oh yeah, it's a dev server, so the keyboard layout is just all messed up. I get this thing off the ground, yeah, there we go. It's the usual 20mm. Let's try this one first. And then you have the Mighty Mouses. So yeah, Japan now has a helicopter which has also this outrageous skin on it. Is this really like some kind of real life skin that the Japanese have put in their helicopter? Has to be some kind of advert. But yeah, so now Japan has one helicopter which is premium, unfortunately, but hopefully we get like a Tech 3 Japanese helicopter soon, because this is quite bad for the balance of the game. If you don't have any Tech 3 helicopters, only premium ones, that's kind of divisive of the player base, like nothing for non-premium customers, non-paying people, I mean. But yeah, that should be all the new planes. So let's get to the new ships that we are getting. First, let's go through the singular ones that other nations than Japan are receiving. There is one for the Soviets. Which is here, yeah. So it's a sub chaser. Oh, those are nice. But it's a 3.7 battle rating, so you'll be facing destroyers. But this has quite nice armament, seems. 202mm guns, 337s, some Dushkas, some torpedoes. So yeah, max speed isn't that high. Armor is only on these guns here. I didn't notice it at first. You have some depth charges, but those are kind of worthless. Or is it sorry, not depth charges, bomb mortars, but yeah, almost as useless. You have some shrapnel rounds, you don't have any AP. So yeah, this is basically a mini destroyer, and at battle rating 3.7 might have kind of a hard time against proper destroyers. Then for Britain we have a new light cruiser at battle rating 5.3, so HMS Southampton. We have 152mm guns, and 3 turrets of 4 guns. Yeah, 2 in the front. Or wait, no. Yeah, 4 turrets of 3 guns. Yeah, of course. Sorry. And then some smaller guns, 102mm here in the hull sides. We have some 40mm anti-aircraft guns, which aren't quite as good as Bofors. Those aren't Bofors, I think. Or are they? I don't think so. Or are they Bofors? Well, anyway. You have 4 of those turrets, yeah, and then you have some heavy machine guns, so yeah, well, I don't really play. I haven't played higher battle rating ships, but it looks like this doesn't have too much anti-aircraft armament. So yeah, I don't say anything on the main guns because I don't have experience with those, but yeah, I guess it's nice to have more light cruisers. And then we get to the Japanese fleet, which has been long in waiting. So the first up we have the Type T14 as the reserve ship, and oh boy, only has one heavy machine gun and 2 torpedoes. Oh man, do we have the new worst reserve boat here? I mean, the heavy machine gun, it looks like that, just like a small magazine. It's very sticky for some reason. Oh man. Yeah, the machine gun turns pretty quick. Oh, you guess the Japanese voice acting. But oh man. Yeah, this boat is pretty freaking awful. Like, I know like many of the reserve boats are bad, but this might just take the cake with its utter lack of armament. But yeah, let's keep moving. The problem is that with the ships or boats, it takes always a while to grind more vehicles, so you will have to play a couple of rounds at least with this stupidly bad boat. Then we have Type T1, which has again awful armament of 2 light machine guns. Yeah. Then Type 38. Sorry, I'm going through this pretty quick, but like these early boats just aren't much fun in my opinion. You have at least 25mm here and some torpedoes. Yeah, you can get depth charges, but those are still pretty much useless in this game. Very small crew, so yeah. And it has, you know, small magazine for the 25mm, so rate of fire is probably not that great. Do we finally have something acceptable? Maybe. We have a 37mm cannon at the front, and then a 20mm at the back. Battle rating 1.7. And you can get an AP round, which is probably pretty much useless in a lower level boat battles. So yeah, this is 1.7. When you think about like the German lower level boats at this stage, like those are so much better probably than this. So yeah, still nothing too great. So then we have Sehatai Model 1. Beautiful green color. It has a 57mm gun in the front. Yeah, it's the same gun that's in the early Japanese tanks, like the it's in the 2 rank 1 Japanese tanks. Like, oh, my mind betrays me here, memory betrays me here with the names, but yeah, at least in tank battles, the cannon is really hard to use because the shells have such low velocity, and it's probably going to be a big problem in boat battles too. You can actually get a heat shell for this boat too, but I don't know why you would use it. I mean, this HE shell has but it's probably more better suited for ships. But well, it will be interesting to see how the heat works against ships. It should kind of be worse than the high explosive, but yeah. But yeah, in addition to the 57mm, you have two 20mm at the back. It's the usual Japanese 20mm with the magazine, so yeah, it could work. 2.0, again, it has some hard competition. Then we have Type 5 with a bigger gun at the front, 75mm AA cannon. So yeah, nothing crazy here. And then we have two 20mm in separate turrets. This middle one is kind of blocked by everything. Like, you cannot fire, you can only fire when the ship is angled like this. Again, 2.0, this kind of armament, like facing battle barges, like the German battle barge with this thing. Oh, yeah, I guess the, well, honestly, no, it just looks kind of bad still. So far it's been kind of a bad display for the Japanese. Whoa, well, this looks different at least. So we have ABT Pioneer. Looks like some kind of armored vehicle. Whoa, well, that's not a whole lot of armor. It's a light machine gun proof armor, but that's about it. So we have one 37mm cannon at the front, and then two light machine guns in separate turrets. And battle rating 1.7, so it's nothing too crazy, but it's hard to say on the 37mm. It doesn't seem too astonishing. This is also very slow, 25 kilometers. So yeah, still looking pretty bad. Oh yeah, what's the top speed on these things? This Type 5, very slow. These boats are pretty fast. Well, this later ones not so much. Well, Type 2 is okay still, but then this one with 57mm gun is really slow again. So yeah, it's like the competition from the other nations is pretty harsh for these things, I predict. Then we have the CH2, which has 40mm autocannon at the front and two 25mm on the side. So yeah, this is a sub chaser. Well, I presume, just telling by its size, but it's kind of weird because it's such kind of a weak armament. I mean, usually the sub chasers have a whole bunch of autocannons and machine guns, in addition to maybe like one bigger gun. What are these? Distant fuse. Okay, that's interesting. Well, that's at least something interesting. It doesn't say how much high explosive content it has. That would be really nice to test that. I mean, of course, the distant fuse is only useful against planes. You want to use the normal high explosive rounds against other boats, but this distance fuse will come very handy against planes. You just have to remember to switch it. But it will also be useful. It would be nice to see how well that 40mm performs, because it looks like it has quite a small magazine. How does the crew work? doesn't really display them here, so yeah. Well, it has at least one interesting feature, so it's something, I guess. Then we have the CH8, which has two of those same 40mm autocannons with the distant fuse. It's distant fuse. It should be distance fuse already. Anyway, it has two of those same autocannons, and it has three 25mm, so kind of spread around the ship, one in the front, one in the middle, and one at the back. So again, not a crazy armament. Well, it's battle rating 2.3, so this might be okay with the 40mm. This might be okay at 2.3. So then we get to rank 2. We have T-51B, which has only cannons at the back, so nothing facing forwards. Yeah, it looks like it's completely impossible to shoot forwards with those 25mm. We have three of them in a single bunch, so I guess if you manage to show your ass to the enemy, then they are up for a bad time. But yeah, this doesn't seem that great. Like 2.7 battle rating, like why? It's 53 kilometers per hour, so it's not crazy fast. It's kind of big, like it just seems bad. Then number 13, type 1944. It's kind of a weird name, like type, 1944. Oh well. You have 8cm gun at the front, very short barrel. Then you have three 25mm and two heavy machine guns. So yeah, three 25s and two heavy machine guns. Oh yeah, well, no, one turret with two heavy machine guns. So yeah, battle rating 2.7. It's hard to say. We'd have to test the what? Oh, you get some depth charges here, but it says 75mm gun, then it's like 8cm type 0 high explosive. Must be a typo here. So only high explosive for the main cannon. Yeah. 33 kilometers per hour, 80 crew members, so that's nice, I guess. Yeah, I guess it's okay. Then type 11 torpedo boat. We have this has to be a after-war Japanese boat. I think those are like American torpedoes, and those are definitely Bofors. Yeah, they are Bofors. So we have one Bofors at the front and one at the back. You can probably fire, well, might be a bit tricky to fire both of them at the same time, but it should be possible. A bit tricky. Yeah, the usual Bofors clips. 76 kilometers per hour at top speed. Yeah, no armor. So yeah, 3.3. I mean, again, you have like American torpedo boats with pretty much the same or better armament. Yeah, I guess this might work, but only having 40mm. Would have been nice to have some heavy machine guns too for anti-aircraft, or just, you know, something more than just the 40mm. Then we have Chikugo. What class was this? Sub chaser. Wow, that's somehow a very difficult word for me. So 3.7. What is this big ass rocket launcher? This has to be after war ship. It looks so modern with all the all the radar thingies, and yeah, it has Bofors again, so definitely an after-war ship. What is that thing? And we have torpedoes? But where are the... Oh, here. No, those are small torpedoes. Or, yeah, no, those are small torpedoes. But yeah, the guns, they are 3-inch Mark 33. What's the rate of fire? Well, I see 50 rounds per minute. Okay, well, yeah, that will be interesting. It spits out rounds like crazy. Then you have Bofors at the back, but yeah, those frontal guns, those will be interesting. Yeah, I was wondering, like, what's so special about, like, well, it's kind of special looking ship, but I was kind of thinking it was lacking armament, but yeah, those I think it's 75mm 3-inch, so yeah, those things will spit out lead like crazy. That would be interesting. Then we get to rank 3 and destroyers. So first we have Motsuki, which was in a dev blog recently. So I guess the main guns are nice, but it's completely lacking any proper anti-aircraft armament. So yeah, just 2 light machine guns, like what? It's not enough to deter anything. So yeah, this is going to get bombed by planes, probably a whole lot. 3.7 battle rating, so yeah, it's not lower than any of the other early destroyers in the game. Then we have Fubuki. We have 3 127mm cannons and 2 turrets with 2 heavy machine guns. So yeah, these 2 will just get nuked by planes pretty much. Like those 2 heavy machine guns won't hold back that much, since you can just drop your bombs in a plane from a big distance from where those heavy machine guns won't do much damage. So yeah, stick close to your allies definitely with these 2 destroyers so far. Do we get an improvement here with the Yugumo? Probably butchering the pronunciation, but well, not really. It's the same guns again, main guns, and you have 2 turrets with 2 25mm. So yeah, it's a bit better than the last one, but like you just need a bigger number. Like that's not enough. So yeah, this 2 will get. This 2 is very prone to air attack. Hard to say on the main guns yet. That would just take some testing. Then Akitsuki. This seems a bit more formidable, and yeah, it's finally getting some proper anti-aircraft armament. So we have we have 5 turrets with 3 25mm, and then 20. What? Am I really? What? Yeah, we have 20 25mm. So yeah, whoa, this is some serious AA armament here. And of course you have 4 main cannon batteries, 100mm, so it's quite light caliber. But yeah, this is on the complete opposite, like smaller main guns, but hell of a lot of anti-aircraft armament. So yeah, this certainly can deter any planes that feel like nuking you. Then we get to the light cruisers. First up is Kuma. So we have 7 140mm cannons in like a single turret. We have 2 turrets with 2 25mm and then 2 worthless light machine guns. So yeah, the anti-aircraft armament is again on the weaker side. The main guns probably pretty good. Again, I don't have much experience on the main gun side of things, so yeah. Big main guns, poor anti-aircraft armament. Oh yeah, I guess I should check the armor on these things. Yeah, plenty of armor here in the midsection. So, like, I'm sorry about the ship reviews or the ship overviews here. Like, I'm just not so much into the ships in this game. I'm much more inexperienced with them, so I probably get things incorrect. I'm sorry about that, but I just want to get everything in one package here in this video. Next we have the Kako 1935. So we have 6 20 centimeter cannons, so that's 200mm too. So we have 4 secondary cannons, 120mm, that's pretty beefy too. And then for anti-aircraft armament, it's very weak again. We have 2 turrets with 2 25mm, so yeah, again, this is going to be a big target for planes, I'm afraid. Whoa, those cannons sure have a lot of penetration with the AP shells. And you have distance fuse for the 120mm, but good luck trying to hit like fighter bombers with those. Then we have Agano with some 15 centimeter batteries, 8 centimeter batteries, then 4 batteries of 3 25mm and 2 batteries of 2 25mm. So yeah, that's certainly a step up in the anti-aircraft armament, and kind of more modern looking overall. No AP shells here, but you have distance fuse for the 152mm, so yeah, you can have fun trying to hit planes with that. And you have a secondary 76mm. What, again, there's like a typo, it says like 8 centimeter here, and here it's 76mm, so something's wrong here. Probably here in the modifications there's a typo. But yeah, let's go to the final one, which is 5.7 battle rating Furutaka 1942. So we have again 20 centimeter cannons, some 120mm cannons, and then 6 batteries of 2 25mm. So not a crazy amount of anti-aircraft armament. It's a huge target, and I think this was this is heavy cruiser. So yeah, we have the first heavy cruiser in the game. It sure is big, and yeah, it's for its size, it doesn't have much anti-aircraft armament. So yeah, it has this funny bulging section here because it was modernized, so it came up with extra weight, so I had to come up with this kind of bulges here for more buoyancy. Yeah, pretty well armored, I suppose. Again, I'm not such an expert in these things, but yeah, it will be interesting to see how the first heavy cruiser of the game will do. It certainly is in a bit of a risk from aircraft. I mean, it does have 6 of those batteries of 25 millimeters, but kind of were wishing for more in such a big ship like this. And oh yeah, we still have the premium ships. Well, first we have this tiny little patrol boat with a minigun. No secondary armament, and this is a post-war boat, definitely. And it has APDS, just for poops and giggles. So I don't really know when you would use it, but anyway. Oh yeah, this minigun actually should have a rate of fire about 450 rounds. They haven't fixed it yet, but yeah, there was a bug report of that in the forum, but yeah, they haven't really fixed it. Yeah, and it's one of those boats, how do you call it, like where the boat like lifts up from the water when it's going in a high speed. I don't remember the name anymore, but you know what I'm talking about if you have like played some of the other nations. Like Americans have a boat like this too. Yeah, it has a crazy rate of fire with this, but it's gonna go down when it gets fixed. I guess you can enjoy it for now with the crazy rate of fire, but yeah, at some point it's going to go down to 450 rounds per minute, and then it's not so special anymore. And this is the only armament you have in this on this boat, so yeah, that's everything you get. Then we have oh boy, Kyoshimo, I think, something like that, destroyer with 127mm guns, some 4 batteries of 3 25mm, then 10 extra 25mm in single mounts, and then 1 with dual 25mm. So yeah, this thing is full of anti-aircraft armament. Let's see what it looks like when you lit up the sky with all that 25mm fire. Controls. Yeah, sorry about that, my control scheme was not set up for the test server. So let's see. No, that's not so crazy. It's kind of hard to aim these things. Well, there we go. Yeah, it's kind of shame that you only have one type of anti-aircraft armament. It'd be nice to have like different layers of, you know, like 40mm, 25, 20mm, and then heavy machine guns, but you only get the 25mm here, so that's all you have to rely on. Let's see how the main guns do. Come on, get the correct distance, please. It sure took a while to aim all the turrets. the range correct. Rate of fire isn't anything too crazy. But yeah, it's your pretty basic destroyer. It's hard to say, I don't really play these higher level ships that much. 4.3 battle rating, so yeah, you'll be facing light cruisers and they might give you a fair amount of whoop ass, so yeah, would I buy it? I don't know. Yeah, that covers all the new vehicles, so let's see if there's some features in the list that I could still cover. So the Night Fighter Hellcat should have radar now. Yep, it has a radar now, and 9 kilometers, so yep, that's nice. We've been waiting for that a while now, since the radars were introduced quite a while ago and the Hellcat didn't get it right away. For the Seahawk jets, we should have new secondary armament options. Yeah, it looks like there's some issues with the text still, but yeah, we can get some AP rockets here. 30 of them in this layout, and 2 500-pound bombs. And these the pen changes. Oh yeah, these are different rockets. Yeah. Anyway, here you have 100 millimeters of penetration, so that's nice. Get some anti-tank rockets in addition to bombs. Just a German plane receive it as well. Yes, it does. But you cannot have those together with the AIM-9B, so yeah, you have to make a choice between ground pounding and having AIM-9Bs. Well, for the AD4 it should be possible to fly out without any rockets, so that's nice. Do you also have it for AD2? No. For AD2, for some reason you have to always take rockets for some reason. Doesn't really make sense. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for all the new vehicles and the biggest changes to existing vehicles. So thanks for joining me here in the test server, and I'll see you on the next one.